Hi, this is Grace at the Depressed Mommy Vlog, video number 2. I just re-listened to my video from yesterday. Not only my verbal processor, I'm kind of slow. It takes me a while to like remember things, get with things, retain information. I'm actually working at a daycare right now. Tomorrow's my last day because I have 3 kids in daycare, and working here gets one of them for free. And I get paid, so, you know, it's kind of necessary for a budget, but, turns out I really don't actually get that much back for what I'm putting in, so I am going to be done after tomorrow, and that's probably why they have a staffing shortage. But I am in the hallway of the preschool, and I've got a couple babies in a stroller, and I'm rocking them back and forth. So that is what the swaying is, but hopefully it keeps you engaged. I wanted to talk about in this video because I think this is a very practical thing. Like if I was looking on YouTube, like when is it time to go on antidepressants, or how do you know when it's time to seek medication? You know, all I can give you is my experience. Obviously, this is not medical advice, but I just wanted to put this story out there just so that if you are in this spot and you're like wondering, should I ask about medication? Possibly. You know, asking doesn't mean starting. Asking doesn't mean going on. Asking just means finding out more information. And asking the right people. Don't ask the internet. Okay, I know you're asking me right now. That's exactly what you're doing. But if you listen to this video or if you Google it or whatever, like follow up and talk to your doctor. Like no one on the internet is gonna know your situation, and you probably can't trust anything you read or hear anyway. So why am I doing this? I don't know, but talk to your doctor about it, okay? If you don't have a doctor, make that your first step. Schedule a primary care appointment. Boom. You don't have money for one? Find a pro bono, you know, find some volunteer clinic. If you have to drive an hour, you know, like figure out how to get primary care. And that's a step in the right direction. That's you taking care of yourself regardless of mental health or not. So my journey with antidepressants and medication for my mental health started in my mid to early 20s. After college, I spent a year on the mission field, and then I came back and I was all hopeful and excited about life. And then some stuff happened, some SHIT hit the fan. And so situationally, I started getting really bogged down, like really not like myself, really unable to hope, really thinking about self-harm. I had already planned out like a plan, if you know what I mean. And not that I thought I was gonna do it, but like I just knew like if I did, like this is how it would go and where it would happen, you know. If you know, you know. But I was just in this place where like I didn't know who I was anymore, and I sought counseling first. And I think maybe that counselor suggested getting on antidepressants. I don't remember. It was not a good experience. I think I was walking in there hoping for meat. I was hoping for walking out of a counseling appointment like being changed. That's not how it works. And perhaps that was the problem, was that my expectations were wrong and therefore it wasn't going to work. But he may have suggested it. Around that same time, again, I saw a primary care physician, and that primary care doctor put me on a very low dose antidepressant. I don't remember which one, maybe it was Prozac. I mean, it was a low dose, like the lowest dose. And I took it for like a month. And again, situationally, a lot was going on in my life at that time. And I was young and invincible, you know, like I knew what I was doing. I was going to heal myself with food, which maybe that's a thing. It probably is. I don't know. But I just stopped taking it. I didn't refill a prescription after the first month. I also never went back to the doctor. And I do remember at my very first like appointment, not the one where she prescribed me the meds, but the one before that where you have to establish care. I remember thinking I was fat and being prepared to step on the scale and for them to tell me that I was obese. And I was wearing a size 6 pants. Like, I probably weighed, 150, something like that. And I remember the nurse, it was a male nurse, like checking me in or whatever. And he was like, no, like, you're in the perfect range. Like, you are perfectly healthy. There's nothing, you should not be thinking that. But that's how, so primed, I don't know if that's body dysmorphia or what. I mean, it could be. It very well could be. But I think that's a very common theme among women of any age or time period, that our bodies are wrong. We're told our bodies are wrong. We believe our bodies are wrong. It should be more this. It should be less that. And that's just a prime example of like me in my youth having the whole world ahead of me, and so much of my mental energy went to like, I'm fat. I'm not good enough. That's where my mental energy was. So anyway, I took those meds for like a month. Maybe I should have asked for a higher dose. I should have done a lot of things, but I stopped taking those. And then shortly after, my situation started changing, and little by little points of light came into my life. In the season after that, I met my husband. I met my now closest friends. I started going to my church. And so a lot of other things were helping to pull me out of the pit. My relationship with God started to flourish again. My career was flourishing. Like I said, I fell in love. We got married. But then I started having kids. And almost immediately, my mental health took a nosedive. I remember just during my first pregnancy, just laying on the couch all day. And like, yeah, it's normal to be tired while you're pregnant, but that's not normal. And I didn't know that. And I just thought it was. And so I still didn't reach out for help. And I had a really bad provider during my first pregnancy. I saw a midwife because, again, there's this ideal of like, well, if it's not natural, if it's not plant-based, if it's not non-GMO, like, it's not good enough, Which, by the way, my life is not that, so no judgment here. But I thought I had to have a natural birth or else it wasn't good enough. I thought I, had to see a midwife, which I did continue to see a different midwife for my other 2 pregnancies. Loved her, loved the method. I think it's great. Like, in and of itself, it's fine. It was my mental state that was like not great. And that particular midwife was also not great. So she didn't give a rip about my mental health. Like, she was on her last year before she was about to retire. And so I just did not connect with her. She had no idea who I was or what I was doing. And honestly, a lot of the comments she made about me and to me were detrimental to my mental health and my mental state, like going into labor and delivery. She did not believe in me at all. And it showed. So she didn't notice that I needed help. We were also very poor. And so counseling was not on the table. I didn't even have real health insurance. I had that MediShare, medical sharing thing. It was not, they don't cover a lot of things. It was expensive and it was just tough. So pregnancy number 1 happens. The baby's beautiful. Love him. He's 5 now. And then pregnancy number 2 happened before he was a year old. Again, during that postpartum journey, like, so out of touch with myself. Still had all these unrealistic expectations for like, I need to lose weight. I need to start running again. I need to be a better mom. I need to do this. I need to do that. And like, I was so low. I was so low at that time. And honestly, looking back, a lot of my friendships were not super deep yet. And gosh, I was so alone. I was so alone. And I felt like I couldn't do anything right as a mom. This seems like a theme in my life. Not good enough, can't do it right. So after the second pregnancy and birth, it did not go super well. I'll take one if you're coming.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay, cool. So, 2020 rolls around. My daughter was born in 2019, and that was it was the best pregnancy I've had. But then I had two under two toddlers. They were 20 months apart. And I also worked, and that 2019 year was my first really good year in real estate. And so I was busy. My daughter went to daycare a lot, honestly. And I look back now and I think about, like, I don't remember when she did this or when she did that. And it's because she was at daycare. She was at the babysitter. She wasn't with me. You know, she went there 4 days a week from the time she was 4 months old. And in the moment, I didn't feel like that was a lot. In the moment, I needed it. I needed the break. And that is okay if that's where you're at. I'm literally in a daycare right now. So, but it was 2020, you know, the dumpster fire of a year that probably ruined everybody's life. It was 2020 when I really realized I had a problem and that I needed more help than what I was getting. At the beginning of the year, before, you know, SHIT hit the fan again, I had a friend sit down with me and look at our monthly budget, because like I said, I had a good year in real estate in 2019, and at the end of the year I saw how much I made and I was like, where did it go? Because we don't have it, and it should have been somewhere. But turns out it was in fast food, it was in takeout, it was in restaurants. Like, food had become my crutch, and I knew it. I knew I was binge eating. That started way back when, you know, when my first crisis, age of 24, 25. So I knew it. I knew I was a binge eater, but I was not interested in, you know, changing that. But here you go. Hold it. There you go. I wanted to do it better with our budget. So I had a friend look at it, and in January of 2020, we determined that I was spending like anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month on food from not the grocery store. That's not including groceries. Groceries was another $1,000 to $1,500. That's where all the money went. Okay, eating it, we ate it. Not, you know, I consider myself to blame for this, but you know, my husband's right there with me. He's got his own stuff, and we just pretend like it's not there. And he pretends like my stuff is not there, and then we just go on our merry way. And that's what was happening. So my friend was asking me to explain, like, hey, if you know you're spending this much and you don't want to spend this much, what happens in your brain when you're going through a drive-through? And I was like, well, it's like I literally forget. Like 5 minutes prior, I could be at a budget meeting and talk about, okay, we don't have the money for this. I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do this. It's not good for me. But then I pass a McDonald's and I'm in the drive-thru before I know it. And like, I rationalize it in my mind. Like, no, it's cool. Here you go. No, it's cool. It's cool. Like, there's no other option. Like, of course I'm going to get this and do this. Of course I am. And here you go, hold it. So my friend was like, okay, maybe you should see a counselor. So in February, I started seeing a counselor, and praise God for that, because if I had waited till later in the year or the summer, it wouldn't have happened because of COVID, you know? So I'm gonna pause there because these babies are getting restless. I'm gonna go ahead and keep walking with them. This will be part 1 of the video, and then I'll upload part 2 later of my mental health medication journey. Sorry, I haven't gotten to very much yet.